Nexus Mod offers collections using Vortex, which is awesome, and I'm a nut mind and having 20 modular collections for your convenience. That's we do need to some adjustments. I'm Sefrichin, and this is the how to do this for the best experience. Now, first off, you want to go to Vortex settings. You want to make sure that you have NL profile here, so you can have multiple profiles. This is very important. So we can have one profile per mod setup or like collection setup. So you will have this amount of mods in this profile and another set of mods in that profile. This will also allow us to differ save games and assign them to just that specific profile. This will make sure that you don't mess up your save games. This is, yeah, I mean, you know how it is if you lose a save game where you had invested like 100 hours or more. So this enable profile management is very important. Another thing is make sure that your game is on the same drive as your mods here. Or make sure that you pick some folder for Vortex and have that game mods, and it can then use hard link deployment, which will also save space and speed up the deployment thing. That said, of deployment, make sure that you disable deploy mods when enabled, because for one, we're working with modules. Uh, this means you will enable multiple modules per save game, so you don't have to experience the deployment process multiple times, and for every single additional optional mod as well. You want to disable this one. In automation, deploy mods when enabled, make this go away. Anyway, now this is the basic setup. We then go to profiles and here add Fallout 4 profile. Again, give it some name, meaningful. Now for this, my active is set modules demo, which is this one. You want to make sure that you have enabled this profile has its own save games. This will make a new folder in your save game folder. It's this very same folder, just it has a subdirectory, which is having the name of the ID of that profile. Now, if you remove a profile, it will ask you if you want to remove that folder as well or not. So that's for up to you to decide. Pick your own poison, and that's your own responsibility. But do make every profile to have its own save game. This is very important. Whether you want to have its own game settings is yet another discussion. This will include like whatever you have set before adding a profile or with the default profile. Those are the default settings now and will be applied to every new profile that you create. So whether you want this or not is also on its own. Also, every changes you do while this profile is active will get applied to all others that have that setting. So I usually prefer the zone, so I will have to set it up again to match whatever, however I want to play. Anyway, now once you have created a new profile, we're good to go. Now we're going to the modules. The link to here is in the video description. And I've already sorted by recently added. So you see here we have module NG 1 and 2 and module NG 10 and 11. These are combined modules in the next generation update. So the most recent update, the most recent game version, this is what you want to use. Do not use any modules that contain 1 or 2 or 10 or 11 unless explicitly listed, like here in the about recommended module 10 FG Skimpy, which would be additional clothing for the module 10, right? So it's modular, it's on top. But do not pick the body variation, right? Only the one with the clothes. That said, with the modules and generally with collections, not all mods are on Nexus. Now, most are, and that's the most convenient part, but not all are, and for mine, these are not. Now, what you want to do is go on the mod set tab up here, scroll down to the offsite assets, click on this little arrow, and you will see here a link. Now, I'm not going to click it because this is an SFW page, but you can control click on it, and it'll open the new page. And then make sure that you download from that page this specific file. Don't pick any other file, pick this file. If this file is not available, please let me know. Please, because I have them, it's working, and I'm not browsing every single mod of every collection every week or every month, and especially not every day. Please let me know if they have absolutely vanished. Speaking of vanished, a user reported, shout out to Merch, that sometimes the pages will not load even in your browser. So make sure that you probably pick another browser to try and make sure. Yeah, that's nothing I can do. It's completely out of my control, right? It's a foreign web page. Speaking of web pages, yes, Vortex has an in-tool browser. While the idea is nice, sadly it doesn't work most of the cases. So going this extra step, this cumbersome approach, I understand, but it's least cumbersome than trying the other way around, believe me that. Especially in other modules where there's more offsite assets than actual Nexus mods. But for this one, yeah, click on all these, make right click on all the links, and then download this specific file each time to your default download directory or whatever directory you want to download them to. And once you've done them all, you go back to Vortex, go on the left side to mods, and drag those downloaded files here to drop files. Once they've been added to Vortex, do not install, do not enable them, just drop files here. Then you can go back and add collection. Now, obviously, you should start with the 01 plus 2, but either way, and it will then present you with an installation dialog. Free user will have to click a lot for every single mod. There's nothing I can do about that because for free users to see that web page will present you some advertisement, which is how they pay for the server, for the hostage and bandwidth to provide the files for free otherwise, right? So there's that. Now, if you want to get a subscription, that's not even that much. You will not have to click for any of the Nexus mods links, obviously. So that said, once those files are all downloaded, you will see an entry here in collection, added collections. I don't get it because since I'm the curator, I have them here. Now what you gonna want to do, well, it's also in a dialog, so you can see a list of optional mods where when there are some in the collection, you want to click on view and then go to optionals. I don't have that optionals available because for me it's all in the mod thing. You can scroll down and then you see a tiny little description and a button to install them. And read carefully, some are for NG and some are for pre-NG. So make sure that you pick the right optional if both are available. Otherwise, just read the name and do a little of brain work to recognize what they might do. That said, and once done for each and every module, right? You can, for example, That's the most important thing where I have them is on module ng, module 1 and 2. We have here, just double click on the line, right? Not on any button, just on the line. And you can here tweak casual tweaks or tweak power armor lights. Now power armor lights will make it more narrow but more bright as well. And casual tweaks is like increasing the building height of your settlements. It will increase the speed of the terminals. It will increase the some other things like jetpack. And what it also does is that, which is a bit cheesy, I understand that, but for me the terminal hacks are not really difficult. Yet it's annoying if you fail it. So there's a little tweak that there are only 3 options available. Pick it or leave it. Um, it's an all or nothing option. Sadly, it used to be more fine tunable, which I had, but Vortex no longer supports that setting, sadly. So I had to make it all in one. And yeah, I don't want to miss it because it's just casual and yeah. Anyway, now that we are here, we can just one last important thing. As you see here, I have these groups and you don't have them. Go to on top collection dependencies. Between the two, you have this tiny little list icon, which will toggle the view of all installed mods, right? Or group by collection. And since we have modules, it's much more comfortable. With all the modules I have, it's still clumsy, crowded, so to say, but it'll make it a lot more easy. Now, going back to unspecified, we're going to use the basic ones, and we're going to use the body, and we're going to use retexture, and we're going to use nature, and we're going to use the HUD. And yeah, that's about it for the moment. It's just a quick preview, right? So on the next step, now that we have the modules, we're going down and we're looking here for the HUD. Now this ultrawide is only for pre-ng. Within the collection, it's still downloadable. Without the collection, it's not. So there's that. So I still want to provide ultrawide support for non-ng users. This is why it's still here. Do not use it if you have ng, right? Do not, and do not update it, because the updated version is just an empty thing, so it won't do anything. Now we have also extended dialog. Now for me, I have the option ng or pre-ng. This should be in the, the collection view mod list for you to pick whether you're playing with ng or not. Same for immersion HUD is also, for me, it's like this. I don't know how it's presented for you as an end user, but this is how it is for me. I'm playing with next generation, so this is what I'm gonna pick. And the next part is here for module ng 10 and 11. There's also the option with pre-built body talk and fusion girl bodies, including meshes. But since I'm gonna demonstrate how it'll present itself to you in the body slide, because I've had been asked for that as well quite often, so I'm gonna include it in this video for the whole process of your first game. There we go. We also have a looks menu. Now, obviously, I do have to have it as required. And because I had updated it, it's showing the wrong name, but you should get the proper name, which is 1.7.0.1. And there's an alternate mode for widescreen as I have, so this is what you want to do. Last step would be the basic ones. So if you want to play on widescreen, you probably want to have to limit your FPS unless you play on a 4080. I'm playing on a 3060, so I'm gonna need the 30 FPS hotfix. I want to have the 4K magazines. I want to have the lowered weapons and the NVIDIA Reflex. I also want to have the Pip-Boy remover. I had been asked to make that optional because some people wanted to use a different Pip-Boy remover because they got upset because it's still shown in some cutscenes, like the opening scene when you leaving the vault. But other than that, it's hardly noticeable. You don't see the Pip-Boy ever in world, right? And it's the most I never had any issues whatsoever with this tool, so I really don't understand if you want to change that. I don't get it, but I love this mod. And also I want to use the SKK fast start, which will just fast forward to leaving the vault. For me, this is very nice. Also, now these will just do nice landscapes. If you want to have it really green and trees and stuff, you want to pick the A Forest, which is a very nice mod, and you see by the size, it does add a lot of things. Now, another important note is if you have the DLCs, that's great for you, but not everyone has. So there are mods that require a DLC to be installed. If you don't have the DLC, it'll crash the game. So that's why all the DLC related mods are optional. I mean, and another example is here the Nuka World things. So these would require the Nuka World DLC to be installed. Again, not everyone has the GOTY edition or all the DLCs, so that's why these are optional. So this is also why you want to do the grouping up here in collection, um, between collection dependencies, this little button. Yes, I know I'm repeating myself, just so you get the nice groupings, and it's a lot easier to find the mods that you're looking for, or to figure out which ones are the optionals for the collection and just limit it to there. Now once we've done our selection of the mods, we go up here and say now here for the concealed armor, enable all, and we go for deploy because we have set it to be only when I click it, disable the automatic, because otherwise it would deploy on every single click I had done before. Yes, we get a redundant message. I can't get rid of it. This is because of the lux menu having the 20 to 9 and some parts of the MTM file. I don't know why it's appearing, other than for the fix, which is a single file, which is a configuration file, which it should not show, but obviously it does. Anyway, so what you now recognize after deployment, we're still missing all the icons up here. So that said, unless you have it prepared like me, I have it down here in the hotbar, taskbar. I have a direct link to the Face script extender, so the Face launcher exe, which you probably don't have if you're using it for the first time. So what you're gonna need is to restart Vortex. There's nothing I can do, but you will see what the changes are. Which is the tools will now appear, and we're going to be able to enter the body slide thing. So bing da ding da ding, and now it's starting all the stuff, and let's go to the vortex, to the body slide. Now there's two parts of the body slide. For one, we're having male and female bodies. So what you're gonna do is, for one, we're gonna do for the male body, so that's body talk. Go through the list, especially if you use more of my collections or have your own mods installed. Go through body slide, all body talk entries here. Click on unassigned. Make sure that you select only the body, not any armor, only the body. And then you can either select one of the presets or create your own body, and then make sure that you have click morphs enabled, this one screen, and then go to batch build. After that is done, you know, we've done now body talk, then we are going back to erase it, go to pick, choose groups, and going for the Fusion Girl bodies. So that's everything with Fusion Girl or FG in its name, and including the underside as well. And make sure that you select, well, I would go for nude, but for the video I'm gonna pick the never nude, so we can use the preview. Remember, that was not optional, an option for the male. So we now see the body, we have skin, and with the selection we can select which body type we want, and make sure that you pick the one you want. So for me, I would kind of prefer this one. You can still do adjustments, right? And then you can click on batch build. Now this will also pop up a dialog, especially on the very first time. Now for Fusion Girl, there will be options for like, hey, I'm having clothings for vanilla, I'm having clothing for Fusion Girl, or I'm having clothing for Fusion Girl and HHS, which would be the high heel system, which will fix the height of the character in relation to the world. Make sure that you always pick the Fusion Girl variation, or where it's presented the HHS variation, so all the bodies, well, all the clothes are matching to the body that you had selected. If you accidentally pick a single clothing, it'll only do that single clothing. And this will destroy your mix and match abilities with other clothing armor. So you always want to pick the body and then do the batch build, so all the clothings get selected and adjusted. Now we're in the game, and going for new, just to show also the character creation with the characters I've made. Some parts are slightly mixed up, I have to agree, because I had removed a mod for the next generation, had to. So but most are still working and still looking great, well, at least to my preference, or to my pain tolerance, whatever you want to call it. We can skip the intro video by double pressing T. This is a vanilla behavior anyway.
Never changes.
You're gonna knock him dead at the Veterans Hall tonight, hun.
You think?
So yes,
Absolutely.
we're already
Get
in the
ready.
game.
Stop
Let's
hogging
moving
the mirror.
on.
Right.
Allow me to do so, please. Thank you, game. So we're gonna pick some male. Let's go for Jan this time. And switching to
My turn,
female,
big guy.
which is what I usually play. And, well, an Asian guy, nah. Let's go for, her? No. Let's go for blue. And yes, confirm. That's more easy for the name anyway, so blue. And if you get this message, workshop parent has not finished the base game workshops, yes. You always want to wait for the mods to be loaded properly into the game before you continue. This is especially true if you use more modular collections or more mods. Make sure that you do wait for them to be registered. It could lead to crashes otherwise, and you really want to make sure that you do wait. I mean, it's not that long usually. The big long time is right here at the first loading screen until the world is loaded anyway. So, press thumbs that everything's working fine and we'll be set to go. there's not much more to say. Anyway, so this is about it. We will be entering the world. We will be seeing a green, wonderful world in a post-apocalyptic environment. Well, kinda. So yeah, that's about it. That's all the trouble you have to go through to get a model working um, collection set up. And again, if you know, I mean, I would recommend to one start the game, right? Make a dummy character and just see if it works, and then you start adding mods. Um, Within the collection, everything should be compatible. The latest test had been done by a user for me because my local and what you download is always slightly different. There's always a chance that one of the mods I had tested might interfere in one way or another. So it might fix or cause an issue just because it's locally and there's some remnants of some config file that has some kind of influence that is out of my knowledge anyway. So last test was like oh, by now 2 or 3 weeks ago, I have to admit, and he said it was all working fine for him. So there's that. It's working fine for me too as well, obviously. So if you have any issues, please do report the issue, what you get, which modules you had been using, and I only accept reports that are not using any mods outside of the collection. And also be specific whether you use the pre-NG or the NG next gen variation um, of the game, which is quite important. But you see we have a lot of green here, nice trees. Um, yeah, it looks quite different, right? So dude, this is it. We are here. Yeehaw! So again, hope you like this a little how-to and step-by-step introduction how to get your Fallout 4 modded working with my modular collections. And if you liked it, please leave a thumbs up and or leave a comment. I would appreciate that as well. And thanks for watching and see you around. Bye.